Coaches webinar. It's a webinar by coaches for coaches. It's a regular thing now on a Tuesday evening, Tuesdays at 7. It's a very cold Kimberley here where I'm sitting. I'm sure most of you are also going to feel the bite, definitely by tomorrow. Thank you very much, regular news on the other side of the country in Johannesburg, for helping us with the technical setup and hosting this. Well, tonight we're going to speak a little bit about the financial implication, not the financial planning for our coaches. I think we're very good at what we do in horses and so on, but then, you know, how are we with the money? Right now, during the lockdown, most of us didn't earn, but there's nothing that we can do about it now. But maybe Blikkies can give us some advice on what to do for the future. Now, this week, a lot of you started riding horses and getting up to the stables. We still don't know whether you're allowed to coach or not to coach. So it basically comes down to interpretation. And there's a couple of us that believe that if something is not explicitly forbidden, you should try and find a way to interpret the law in a legal way in order to help you earn a living and support your families. I think for the coming weeks, hopefully something will open up and we'll be able to get to the horses more, maybe start coaching and earning. Tonight, I especially would like everyone to just put their thoughts and prayers to Ann Conlon. She is one of our senior dressage coaches. Yesterday, she had a brain bleed and was flown to the hospital in Bloemfontein. She's still in ICU there, which will probably remain there for the next 10 days or so. So she is stable, but of course, she could really do with some supportive, or can just send positive energy that way to one of our colleagues and esteemed coaches. Okay, so without further ado, I would like us to start with Blikkies Blignaut. Now, he works at PSG Wealth as a financial and wealth advisor. So hopefully he can advise us on how to become very wealthy. We'll see what he says. So what he does is, the basic idea is to understand each client's financial situation and then design and build a better solution for them. Now, I've known Blikkies for a while. He loves people, positivity, wine and braaivleis. He grew up in the park, Kempton Park that is, and he says every time an airplane flies over, he still looks up. So thank you, Blikkies, for joining us tonight, and thank you for gracing us mere mortal equestrian coaches with your presence, and I hope you can give us some good advice.
Thanks, Jaco. So I should say thank you, Jaco, for having me here. I hope that worked. Yeah, thanks, guys, and welcome. And I think all I'm going to do is just share thoughts. There's a lot of principles in investment planning.
Sorry, just interrupt you. Sorry, I forgot about we've got a little, just a poll for everyone. So if you could all just click a simple yes, no, whatever, where you do, so we can just get some data about our people here tonight. It's obviously anonymous, so no one's going to know who you are and so on. So if you can just quickly do all of that. Now, all these polls and so on will just give us an idea of what tonight's audience is. Of course, it can change from night to night. And we're going to be carrying on running polls like this in the beginning of our sessions, just to get us all engaging on this platform. So there's someone asking, yes, you must just click the yes or no, depending on what it is for you, and try to be honest, because that's what we're planning to find out here. This is where are we standing with our financial planning. And here is the results. So 88% coaches here. Just over half of us have a formal plan to save up for retirement. And obviously fewer people have an indemnity insurance and public liability. So Blikkies, this is where you stand. This is your audience. Please.
Go for it. Cool. Okay, so as I said, I'm gonna share thoughts. There might be some stuff that I left out that you are welcome to ask at any time. But while I prepared, I thought this is more entrepreneurial audience. So hopefully I can yeah, give some advice or some pointers as to how we approach the market. Can I share my screen with a PowerPoint presentation? Is that fine, Jaco? Yeah. So what? Yeah, that's exactly what we do, and it's quite a range of stuff. But our focus is investment planning, retirement planning. We do a bit of business coaching, not as such. That's not our speciality, but obviously you work with a lot of business people. But I think as an intro, because the majority of us or of you guys are entrepreneurs, and you find yourself in a chaotic situation. Yeah, you know, we recently we deal with a lot of people or clients that they're at a point of, you know, closing doors, which is sad. But so if you're in that boat, yeah, I think we're all in this together, and hopefully we can shed some light or give a silver lining around the dark cloud for the way forward. And if you are not there, you're very privileged, because this affected us all. So yeah, so obviously there's a bunch of stuff that happens, and suddenly you appear. Like in my case, a few years ago, I got to my in-laws, and they I don't know if I'm allowed to say this, but certain in-laws are fig jams. You know that saying or that abbreviation. I'm not allowed to repeat it, or I'm not allowed to say what it stands for. But let's say it's people that's always like, flip, I'm good. If I can use the clean version, flip, I'm good. Just ask me. So if you get to those people and stuff doesn't go according to plan, they like, no, but you should have done this, and didn't you plan in advance? You know, then you would have been in a better place. So I hate that, and I won't do that, I promise. But yeah, let's see where we can bring this. So we all start somewhere, and then suddenly life happens, and your plan doesn't really work out as you wished. But so we are here now, so we should do something about it. Hopefully, the hope is that our country has been through worse periods, if you can quickly scan through those, and we made it. I think the core of our beings, and especially South Africans, is that we hate to lie down or to stay down, and we want to get up. We want to move forward. We want to make this country a better place, or the world for that matter. And we've been through tougher times, and we actually made it. So yeah, we'll get through this. So typically an entrepreneur, you have a plan and you have a business, or let's call it in our language, you've got a share, and your share is your company, and you want this share to grow, and you've got a plan. So I see it says a myth, but it's over the long period, it's not necessarily a myth. You succeeded, and you did some stuff right, and hopefully you ticked all the boxes. But the reality is, it's the one to the right. You know, there's tough times and there's unexpected events. So to make that line more straight or more smooth, we try to put stuff in place. And it basically comes to this: you've got a plan or a goal, and you have to take some risks. And this cycle repeats itself over and over. So without risks, you won't be able to achieve your goals. Obviously, you know, all of us, I think, don't like to take risks in some other way. But whether it's a lot or a little, you have to take a bit of risks. And maybe from here on forward, keep in mind that sometimes you have to step out of the boat a bit, whether it's with help or alone. But we're there now. Now we need to take some risks, and hopefully there's some opportunities, and let's talk through that. I'm going to refer to this slide again later, But bottom line, in a crisis situation like this, we can either view the scenario like the left-hand side. It's like life threw me a middle finger. But if I just view it from a different angle, you might see it's either a total different message or there's some opportunity which I missed. So for everything, all the discussions, let's try to, in life in general, let's try to view it from various angles, and don't necessarily just read the news and think this is the end of it, or there's no hope for the country or for my business or whatever the case is. If you just what's the word? If you allow yourself a different angle, then it might be a total different story. So the area we operate in, and specifically in investments, if we go back to 1975 and we look at the JSE, or the Joburg All Share Index, then you'll see we've been through tough times. But if you zoom out like this picture, it doesn't look that bad, but there were obviously instances where it were much worse than today. So today, if you look at the top right, it's about a minus 22% drawdown, or the effect of it on the trend. And previously there were much worse times. So we tend to forget that. If I zoom in a little bit closer, then you'll see from the year 2000 up to today, it seems a bit more volatile, but it's the same picture. And we achieved 12.5 or 12, let's say 13% year on year on the JSE. In the markets, and that's where we operate in terms of investments, and similar with your business, there are ups and downs, but as I said, the essence of a business or the markets or a share is to produce more, to expand, and to build. So history will repeat itself. So there will be downs, but there will definitely be ups, and the trend will be a continuous upside. So what's going on in the world now? So if I can throw in some economics, regardless of the conspiracy theories, so we can forget about that for now. But the bottom line is, there's countries which is in a armdruk situation. They wrestle in terms of the strength of their currency or their markets. So I think the two biggest players, as you will know, the dollar is king. The dollar is the most prominent brand in the world, and people like to brag to say, I've got dollar investments, or I'm trading in dollars, or whatever the case is. And America likes that as well, and I think that's why they are succeeding in all the stuff that they currently are doing. It's quantitative easing and all these words and terminology, but the only reason why it's succeeding is because of the strength of the dollar. So China is definitely pushing hard, and obviously we won't be surprised if they become the next dominant currency. As you'll see, I've circled that they launched a digital currency like a Bitcoin, but the difference with the Chinese yuan Bitcoin or digital currency is it's been regulated by the central bank, where the Bitcoin itself is not legalized, or not legalized, regulated. So the benefit for China on a digital currency like this is because it's regulated, they can control the value, or not control, they can monitor the value, where Bitcoin, you can't control it. There's no substance behind the Bitcoin. It's speculative, and it's whether you like it or not. So what China did, you'll see I quoted at the bottom, is a piece I read this morning of Steve Sammartino. He said, there's nothing more powerful for any nation than for others to desire its currency, like a premium brand. So the dollar is a premium brand, and I think China wants to get that. So imagine everything changes around, and we have to report gold on yuan instead of the dollar, or everything is compared to the yuan. And that's obviously what they would like, and I think they are succeeding in a lot of ways in that. So an example is, for instance, and as I'm talking, think of new technology, new opportunities. We'll get to that now. So what China did is, there's an app, WeChat, that's one of many examples, but WeChat is like WhatsApp. The difference is with WeChat, you can talk to your friends, and you can also you can do e-commerce, you can order stuff, you can order food, you can tell your mom, listen, I'm sending you a few yuans or whatever the currency is. And that's why they are ahead of the rest of the world now with a digital currency where, and it's legalized or it's regulated by the central bank, where the dollar hasn't got that yet. Interesting, you'll see developed by Tencent. Now Tencent is part of Naspers, which is a South African firm or South African stock. And that's why Naspers is doing so well, because they're very intertwined, is that the word, with Tencent and WeChat. So yeah, maybe just go back again. So that's the battle currently in the global markets, and obviously the coronavirus. I actually didn't want to mention that word, but that helped them a lot in this battle. So in our world, it's for us, and it's definitely the same for you, that it depends on your focus. If I focus short term on the past 5 days or the next coming 5 days, it's going to be hectic. Obviously some people, their bank accounts are empty. So what now? It's crazy. But if you look back 5 years, it's like it was a bit smoother, and it could go smoother for the next 5 years. And that's what we must try to do. Try to zoom out a bit and get the bigger picture. So in the short term, definitely a mess, especially now. We are very, we are looking forward to the 1st of June. Hopefully stuff will get back to normal, and obviously I think everyone will be confused. The police will be confused, so a bunch of stuff will operate as normal. But hopefully then we can carry on our trajectory of a long-term growth, like on the right-hand side. And I think that must be the reality, to have a long-term view and a smoother ride, and try to forget about the mess. So for us, compound interest is a reality, and so our focus is that, and similarly with yours. So in your business, whether it happened up till now or not, doesn't matter, but for now forward, it must be a sense of the moment I'm expanding and or maybe diversifying. We're going to get to that now. This stuff must compound, and it must grow exponentially. And hopefully grow my wealth, and also when there's another hiccup like this, call it a hiccup, but now it's a crisis, that I'm prepared because of the compounding effect. So to illustrate this, maybe just the concept of compounding. So first and last example, then we'll chat about the business again. But if this guy saves $1,000 a month from the age of 21 till 30, so it's only 9 years, he saved that, and then he stops and he leaves that until age 65. Second guy, he saves also $1,000, but from the next age, 31, up till 65. So the second guy saved more in terms of years, but he started later. So the first guy only 9 years, the second guy 34 years. So you think that's to his benefit, but the outcome is different because Tim started earlier and he had time on his side and compounding happened. So his return is almost double. So I used 10% year on year and the 6% inflation, just an example. So we must use this to our benefit in our business, in our investing, wherever we can. So for an entrepreneur, obviously we need to have a plan, whether we had one or not. This must be a reoccurrence like that first circle. We have to go through the cycle again very regularly. Like, is my plan still correct? Should I follow this strictly, or should I add another one? So diversify or diversification is big on our list. So specifically like this. So forget about the words you see on the eggs, but let's say I was heavily invested in property and this happened. So, and that literally happened. Property had a massive collapse. Similarly with the financial crisis. If I only had that one egg, I'm stuffed. So I have to diversify. So on the investment side, I have to do this on my business as well. I only have this one share, and call it the horses or my plot or whatever the case is. I must try not to keep that one thing. I have to try to diversify out of that. I can use that to get something else, or I can totally think outside the box, but I have to, it must be a completely different next thing. just to protect me with events like this. So same with horses. If you're in this business, it's like, okay, what type of, you know, horse sport or business should it be? What type of horse? Which horse is the winner, or which business is the best in terms of horses? Similar with us, with the business world outside. So it's not necessarily that the winner for today is the winner for tomorrow as well. I have to diversify. So a few things to keep in mind if I need to think outside the box is, remember, we are living longer than on average. So this could be, if we go back to that slide with the middle finger, it could be a risk, but it could be an opportunity as well. The risk being that I'm living longer, so I didn't save enough. It means I have to work longer. It means my I'm going to be older and more frail, so maybe I need to keep healthier, and it's expensive to keep healthy. Whatever the case is, I can see all the bad stuff, or I can see the opportunities with the same idea. So I'm going to live longer. I have to work more or longer. I maybe have to start a second job. I have to live healthy. So all of the same points could be an opportunity as well, depending on what angle I'm looking at this. So to give you an example, that's what's happening in Japan, and it's probably the same in poor Italy because of the collective age. You know, that's the type of market they're in, and we have to be open-minded about this. This is tongue in the cheek, but that's the reality. People are living longer, and so is this a threat to me, or is this an opportunity? Can I incorporate this in my current business, or should I, as I said, think outside the box and do something different? So there's a lot of disruptors, and we can talk a lot about this, but this is an old example actually, where previously it's been a Blockbuster video or DVD rental shop, and that's pretty much dead in the water. So it's Netflix, and everything is online, and cell phones, etc. We'll see more of that. Like Uber, the biggest taxi company in the world, and they're not owning one single car or taxi. It's just an app, and they're printing money. So I can use this as another opportunity, or I can see it as a threat. So depending on my angle of how I view this. So yeah, so a massive need for financial planning, especially de-accumulation. So it might mean that at an old age, now suddenly instead of accumulating my stuff to retire at 65, maybe I must take some risks, de-accumulate, use a bit of money to expand or do something new. And the reality check is I have to work longer, second career, and reducing spending or waste less. Any new idea to see a new opportunity instead of the risks that we are living in. This is also an old slide. It's not millennials anymore, but yeah, this was predicted about 7 years ago that by 2020 half of the workforce will be millennials. And they're using smartphones. I think it's pretty much the whole population now. Everything is, if it's not on your phone, if there's not an app for it, it's probably not going to succeed. That's the new normal. So I have to incorporate that in my business as far as I can. 90% of millennials check their smartphones for the first 15 minutes. I think it's 100% of everybody checks their phone the moment they wake up. So that is the new normal. So part of the plan is, so what's your social media strategy? We have to use that in our benefit, in our businesses. And how can I attract clients, build greater loyalty to my existing clients? And maybe be like Thomas Edison to say, if I do take risks here, get your mother, all her friends, they'll need to see a fire like this again. They'll never see a fire like this again. Don't be scared to take risks. I know a lot of people, I have clients that there's literally no money left, so there's no capital to try something new. They first have to advertise themselves, the qualifications that they've got, and try to build from scratch, and build something up until they have something, so put away or save to try something new. So it's not everyone that can start something massively upfront, but still we have to diversify. Okay, time to start saving, investing. So have a plan. Maybe a very easy strategy is to say, have 3 buckets: a short-term bucket, a small one, and you can decide what the size of that is. So let's say I want a bucket of 20,000 Rand. That's my short-term money for a burst geyser or a tire or whatever the case is to service my car. The moment that bucket is full, it pours over to the next bucket, which is my medium term. That it must be a bigger size bucket for anything between 2 to 4 years from now to maybe do maintenance on the plot or buy new horses or maybe for the new business. And then a long-term bucket, which is your retirement savings. So what's inside that bucket, that's a long discussion. Is it money market? Is it bonds? Is it equities? Is it offshore? Is it whatever? But we need to have a plan and a strategy in place and investing for various scenarios. Using social media, again, we can't emphasize that enough. My new venture, what will that be? Should I expand my current stuff or should I start something new? And then coaching my business. So coaching my business, that could mean, talk to friends, talk to business partners, bounce your ideas, have a bottle of wine and cater with someone till late at night and think of new things and innovative in the new technology world that we're living in. And then relationships is key. And I think that's why if we look back at the Spanish flu, it was also 2 to 3 years, same story applied 100 years ago. There was such social distancing. Everyone got a big fright. You can go read up on that. But 3 years after that, back to normal. People are people, and we are relationships beings, or so it boils down to that. So that's why machines will definitely be more prominent, but it's not going to replace us. It's no chance. We do like a relationship, and that's why we can be at ease that it's gonna go back to that. Otherwise, wipe the world and it's just going to be machines. So what's the use? And the earlier the better, obviously. So my threats: risk. Don't be scared of risks. Inflation. That's another discussion, but inflation is a risk or is a threat. So you have to outperform inflation. Obviously, your bread today is going to be more expensive next year. So you have to be able to buy a bread and eventually buy 2 breads by compounding. And then emotions is a big bugger, especially now. And all the news and all this stuff, it messes our minds up. So try to stay away from that. And if you an emotional being, which is all of us, but some people more than others, have a friend or have a soundboard or have a business coach or have an advisor, just to get sanity again and try to stay focused during these times. Back to this one again. Make sure that you've got a long-term view. Try to ignore. We can't ignore it. Just to take your focus away on the immediate and try to focus on the long term to stay sane. That's pretty much the bottom line. And then for us, specifically, time in the market is much more worthwhile than try to time the markets. That it's been proven over and over. Don't try to be clever. No one got that right, to think I'm holding my money back or my risk back until it's time now. There's people that started businesses now, which is the craziest ideas, and suddenly it works. So do your research, or have your money available to invest, and start your business. Don't wait. Otherwise, it might be too late, and another guy starts the same business or try something new with his horses, or social media, or whatever the case is. So rather be in it to wait. It might be too late. So, and then I'm almost done. So what we can and we can't control, that's very obvious. So we can invest, we can diversify, we can remain invested, we can stay invested. That we can control. But the rest we can't. So no one knew it's going to be the corona and the downgrade and all this stuff, and it's globally. We forgot about the fires in Australia. Who remembers that? We forgot about Brexit. That's like a blip on the radar. So it kind of shadows everything. So we cannot predict what's big and what's not big. It will happen, but it will pass as well. And then, just a few pointers. Ignore the fake news. Choose who you listen to. Choose your sources. Emotional stuff. Fake news definitely doesn't help you emotionally. Focus on the positive. So that's also a big point. Optimism. Optimists are the best investors, the better investors. And obviously, I'll tell you to call you an advisor. That's what we do. And then a last quote from Warren Buffett: "Every decade or so, dark clouds will fill the economic skies, and they will briefly rain gold. When downpours of that sort occurs, it's imperative that we run outdoors carrying wash tubs, not teaspoons. So be ready." And then just to sum it up, view it from all angles, have a plan or plans, and review that regularly. Set goals, take risks, diversify, stay positive, focus on the long term. And that's it. Any questions? Thanks, Jaco.
Thank you, Blikkies. If anyone has any questions, you can use the chat function, or if you want to speak to him directly, you can put your hand up. Blikkies, just quickly, now, thank you for this and putting it all into context for us. If you take me as a coach, I mean Joe Soap, whoever, but as an equestrian coach, we've got a unique way that we do our business. I think most coaches who don't have a livery yard, if you're just straight out coaching, then for every hour that you don't work, you don't earn. And then also we deal with a lot of cash. So what are some of the negatives of this model of doing business? If you can just help us there a bit.
Yeah, we obviously had this discussion before. I think this is the risk, exactly as what's happening now. So cash, as you can remember earlier, inflation is the killer. Cash will not outperform inflation, never. It happens in certain instances where there are high interest rates, and we've gone past that now. So cash is king in certain instances, but in cases like this, it's not going to help you, or it's not going to carry you that long. So you have to get a way to get it in a system where it generates interest, or not interest, but proper growth in terms of compounding. So whether it is expanding your business or diversifying your business, if you're not into the investing thing, which is obviously got its terms and conditions, it can't be dormant. Cash can't be dormant. It's not going to help you. It's not. It's not going to build wealth by being like that. So for a person that's working for hours, yes, you must be much more prudent and more wary that the moment I'm sick and I can't earn income due to my hours, which is now suddenly closed because I'm sick, or whatever the case is, or there's a crisis and there's a lockdown, I have to be cognizant of that, and I have to save and plan in advance for something like that. Or second option is to have proper insurance. So insurance is another topic to say there's insurance for sickness and disability and stuff like that. And then you've got insurance, which is short-term insurance like the PI or professional indemnity and public liability. And then if there's a disruption in your business due to like an infection like this, that's what insurance is for. Certain insurance I feel is not worth it because it's damn expensive and you're never going to claim. But sometimes it's worth your while. So it's similar like a doctor. If he doesn't work, he's not going to earn anything. It's exactly the same principle. Similar with us. If we don't work, there's no income coming. So you have to be cognizant. You have to plan in advance. You have to have a structure and a plan with like a bucket theory in place. There's no way around that. And dormant cash is worth nothing. So put it back into your system or this system and make it work for you. I hope that answers.
Okay, thanks, Blikkies. Is it ever too late to start saving up for your retirement? How does, because a lot of us made this mistake now and it's over, but what can we do now?
Yeah, they're simple. The earlier the better. I'm in that exact same boat. I didn't start saving when I was 21, which is a textbook thing. So I obviously heavily invested in my business where I'm currently at, and what's the word? But I procrastinated. What's the word? Yeah. Anyway, but I postponed my savings and postponed it. And now if I do the calcs. It's like, gee whiz, it's like thousands that I need to put away. Bottom line is, the earlier you start, if it's only $100 a month, that's fine. Just start. So that compounding is in your favor. So bygones is bygones, but just start, and eventually, when stuff turns in your favor, which it definitely will, we've got a great country with opportunities, I believe. Then you can adjust as time goes by. So that's why I'm saying, revisit your plan regularly to see, am I on track? Whether it's a 5-year plan to say, okay, I can only do 100 Rand a month now. In a year's time, it's going to be 200 Rand, and then that'll grow exponentially. But just start. So there's a lot of psychology in this as well. It makes you feel better that I know I did start, and the next year revisit it and top it up, or whatever the case is. But have a structure, have a plan in place, and the sooner the better. Yeah.
Thank you. And then it's just something practical. It's difficult to have this self-drive and the self-discipline to put money away. Is it in the service that you do in your daily thing? Is there products or mechanisms or whatever that you can help us to force us to put that money away? What is it that you do?
Yes. So there are products that kind of forces you. I'm not a fan of a system that drives you. I think I'm more. Bottom line is, if I split my customers up or my clients up into schools, you've got a lazy bunch, which is I'm one of them, and you've got driven guys. The driven guys, they sort it. The lazy bunch, if I can call us that, it's good to phone my advisor twice a year. Like, listen, I'm not making it. I want to stop this step. And it's like, no. Let's make a plan. Let's look at your budget. So it helps for someone to encourage you. Yes. So that's why relationships is a big thing. But if you're a driver, you're gonna, you motivate yourself. But for the bulk, and to be honest, it's the bulk of my clients. It's a relationship, and it's a long road that you have to walk. And sometimes, a little bit more motivation. Other times, when times are well, it's easier to save. So yeah, you need motivation from other people. That's true.
Thank you. I've got a question here. And guys, you can put on in the room. You don't have to send to me privately, but yeah, if you don't want to be mentioned, it's fine. So if I call you tomorrow, what is it exactly that I must have so that we can have a meaningful chat?
No, that's fine. If you've got nothing, we will start the conversation. And yeah, like I've got old ladies that knows nothing. They're widows or whatever the case is, and like, I've got nothing. I don't know where to start. And we will prompt the conversation and ask, have you got this? Have you got that? Let's think of a budget. Let's tell me what do you spend here? Whatever the case is, and eventually it gets you thinking. So if you've got nothing, no problem. If you do have something to prepare yourself for investing, it's a budget is good to start to say, what can you put aside to have a plan or structure. And with that, in our lives, FICA documents is a big thing. So if you want to start as soon as tomorrow, it's like, okay, listen, just have your FICA documents ready, and then it's to open an account is very quick in that in that regard. But if you've got nothing, we'll guide you. So we'll know how to push this conversation into in a direction to do something meaningful. So yeah.
Okay, Blikkies, how important is it to review stuff? I mean, most of us at some point took out an annuity or some policy or whatever, and we actually, I don't know, is it still relevant today? How important is it to review these things, and can you do that for me?
Yeah, so I think all of them are relevant or are helpful, whether big or small, and yeah, so we've got access to systems, and we can draw, even if it's old stuff and you forgot about it, we'll be able to source that. Yeah, I think every cent is relevant. Maybe a quick example. It's actually a family member, and she's retiring in 2 months' time. But she approached me 7 years ago, and she said, "Listen, I've been to many places, and I forgot. There's a pension fund, and there's a little RA, but I lost the stuff." So, and she said, yeah, she once, many years ago, she worked for a mining company, and she thinks she's got a pension fund there of about 150,000 rand, and it's with Old Mutual, but she hasn't got any proof. So can I source that? And we did it, and 7 years ago it came back to be 3.5 million, just because she forgot about it, and it was compounding. So if it's regardless of how big or small it is, it's definitely going to be relevant. Yes.
Okay, thank you. And then, Blikkies, what do we do? Like, if we want to get in touch with you, can we just call you? Do we send you an email? How do we go about this?
Yeah, anyway, that's fine. Call or email, or whichever way you like. Yeah, I'm open.
All right. Thank you very much, Blikkies, for taking the time to chat to us. We're going to be putting up Blikkies' contact details on the screen just now. And this video will also be on the YouTube channel that we're going to also put on for you later. So just thank you again. We're not very good at the saving and thing and whatever, but I think this was a bit of a wake-up call and a slap in the face, and hopefully with someone like you helping us, we can direct and end up in a better place than we are now. So thank you very much.
Thanks,
and then,
thanks, guys.
Everyone, we'll be back again next week, Tuesday. We just want to share with you, we sent out the Survey Monkey what was it? The Survey Monkey email we sent out to everyone with a lot of questions. So this is the feedback from the Survey Monkey. You can see of all the people that entered, 96% of our audience are coaches. And then we asked you, what discipline do you do? I just see that the mostly dressage, jumping, Sanisa, but you can see it's a little bit from all over: polo, cross, western mounted game, working equitation. So this is exactly why we want this coaching webinar going, Coaches for Coaches. It's not just for one person. We're not affiliated to a specific body or a sporting body or whatever. It's just coaches. As long as you earn a living out of helping people ride, then these webinars, we're going to keep on bringing it for you. And then we asked how often you would like to run the webinars. 38% chose once every second week, closely followed by once a week, and then 28% for once a month. But most of you were happy with 7 p.m. on a Tuesday. So I think we're going to carry on with that for now, and then we'll keep on running little surveys like that. And then regular, if you could just put up the YouTube channel for us. So what we're doing, we take the recording as is, we put it on the YouTube channel, and you can go in your own time and re-listen to all of this. So yes, Blikkies' contact details. So there's a cell phone number, so you can maybe send him a WhatsApp, stalk him if you want. Equestrian Coach SA team, if you see the YouTube channel there. So if you're going to search for any of these videos, and search for exactly that phrase as is, Equestrian Coach SA, and then a space team. That'll bring you to our webinar videos. And then our email address, please, if you want to be on the mailing list and get these updates, then please just send us an email, and then regular will pick it up. So thank you very much, guys. Next week we'll be back again. We're going to be starting with some interviews of coaches in different disciplines. So we're going to try to get guys together and just ask them some relevant questions and interesting questions to get us all together into this equestrian thing and know a little bit more about each other's disciplines. So please be on the lookout for that next week. And then thank you all. Stay safe, and don't queue too long on the 1st of June for that alcohol shops to open. So on the 2nd of June, we'll all have a bubble. So on the 3rd of June, all back to work, and then we'll see you again next week. Thank you. Cheers.